Welcome to this first video in our series in learning to program using the C++ programming language. So, whenever we start to learn a new language, we typically write a hello world program. And so let's do that in this first lesson. So the first thing I need to do is to include any libraries that I will be using. Okay, so remember, with programming, you do not recreate or reinvent the wheel. A lot of things have been done for us, and so we just need to know where to look. And so IOStream happens to be what we call a library, and that library allows us to use code that other people have written. All right, and so I will create a main function. Okay, and a function, you can think of it as a container where we can put our code. All right, so if we have a garden, we would want to have a container, a fence, a house that we put over our garden so that we can keep everything organized. So functions allows us to organize our code. And so every function has a main, every program has a main function. Okay? And so inside this main function, I will write my code. And so I will write std colon colon, and I will say cout. Cout is just another way for me to print something to the screen. And what I want to print to the screen is hello world. All right, that's what I want to print. And then I will put a semicolon because the semicolon means I am finished with my instruction. So each of these are called an instruction. Okay, an instruction that will be executed on our behalf. Now this function will have this thing here that says return 0. Okay, it's just something that we have to put, and later on we learn why it's there. Okay, and so that's it for our first program. Again, we have our library, so we're going to import our library. Okay, so libraries are just other people's code. Okay, and these people are very generous that they allow us to use their code. And after we have our libraries imported, okay, we will create our function. So here we will create a main function. Okay, and keep in mind every program can only have one function named main. Okay, so doesn't matter how big your program is, there should only be one main function. All right, so let's run this. All right, so I'm going to say build. I'm going to build it, and then I'm going to click the green button. Okay, and now it's telling me hello world, and then press enter. Okay, so what would happen if, let me run it again. Notice that there is no space in between my hello world and what comes next. Okay, so what I want to do is to put a space, a line of space. So to do that, I will simply come here, remove the semicolon. I will put the two less than signs again, and I will say std colon colon, and I will put endl, and then I'll put back my semicolon. So this endl simply means skip a line. So I will come here and I'll build, and then I'll click my green button. And so now you notice I have a space right here. Right? So I have my space after hello world. And that is what endl does. Now, you might be thinking, well, that's a lot of writing. Do I have to write std colon colon every time I use cout and every time I use endl? Well, no, you don't. There's a shortcut. And so what I will do, I will say using, okay, name space, and I will say std semicolon. Okay, so what this is telling the compiler is every time you see cout, every time you see endl, please note that there should be a std colon colon in front. And so that allows me to remove that from here. And so it saves me from having to type all of that. Okay, so let me build it. So let me compile it, and you will notice it gives you back the same result. Okay, so that's it for our first program. This is our Hello World program. And one thing I want you to notice, I am very, I use space a lot. So you notice some programmers might want to stick everything together like this, right? Like that. And it's just hard to read. Some might want to put this here, and then put this here, and then this here. It's just hard to read. And so my advice to you is to be be willing to use spaces. Okay, so I will put a space here, I'll put a space here, I'll put a space here, and I'll put a space here. Again, the white spaces don't matter, but they make things easier to read. And so this is how an ideal program would look in terms of spacing. I will leave it here. I suggest that you retype this and get it to work. And then I'll see you in the next lesson where we will build up and start looking at variables. I'll see you in that one.